Unmute. Mute. I don't know what I'm doing. Hello, good afternoon. This is Dr. Stephen Evans. I am the editor-in-chief and publisher of Outclick magazine. We have had the opportunity to talk to a lot of fascinating people, entertainers, performers, government officials, and all kinds of people. And today we are most excited to talk to Antonio Edwards. Antonio is a staple here in the community for entertainment at Alibi, and he is always out smiling and brings us a lot of good cheer and music. And you, like a lot of people, are trapped at home and doing your thing, and we are excited to talk to you today. Tell us about, where are you from, Antonio? Tell us about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm so appreciative that you asked me to do this. Thank you so much. Where am I from? I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
Born and raised there, and lived there for several years. And then I lived in several cities and states after that, kind of working my way to New York, because I always wanted to live in New York. And I actually lived in New York for about 10 years, and then I moved here.
Okay. Okay. What did you do in New York? Were you performing in New York?
I was performing as well as being a waiter.
Okay.
As you probably know, a lot of Broadway actors and a lot of actors and singers wait tables during the day, or wait tables at night and audition during the day. So I did that for a while. I thought I wanted to be a Broadway star when I moved there, because that's all people talked about was Broadway. And I realized after being there for about a year that Broadway was not my dream. My dream was more to be a recording artist.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Cool. Cool. And you grew up doing church music, I think, is like me. You have a church music background.
Absolutely. My father was a Baptist minister, my father's father, my mother's father, two of my brothers. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing one. My father, my father's father, my mother's father, and two of my brothers. So five men in my immediate family are Baptist ministers.
Wow. Wow. And what was that like being in a Baptist family? So I've been organist at 2 Baptist churches now. So I've been Baptist, Methodist, and Presbyterian.
Oh, wow.
What was that like growing up, and kind of give us a little bit background on that.
It was, I didn't know anything else. So that church was church. And I knew that there were different denominations. I knew that there were different types of churches. But being around my family and my church family was all that I knew. And it was what it was. Very comforting. I still find comfort in church today. So that's my background. And I love being in church, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I think it's interesting when you talk to a lot of pop singers, when you delve down deep, a lot of them started singing in church.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I'm listening to, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I didn't even realize that my voice was necessarily anything special, because everybody in my church sings like I do. I didn't realize until I got outside of church, people were like, oh, you have a really nice voice. I'm like, doesn't everyone sing like this? That's all that I know.
And who are some of the influences for your musical career? That's always something I like to ask singers and musicians. Who was it that maybe influenced you?
My favorite singer of all time, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, is Peebo Bryson. That is my absolute favorite vocalist. I love the way he sings. I love the way he interprets a lyric. I love the way he expresses the lyrics of the song. Absolutely adore him. In terms of growing up, my influences were Michael Jackson, Earth, Wind and Fire, Aretha Franklin, Chaka Khan, Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, those types of people.
I remember Peebo Bryson, yes. And he did some good stuff. And Lionel Richie, and he's got some amazing music, of course, too.
Yeah, Lionel Richie is an amazing songwriter.
Yeah, yeah. Do you play any instruments too, or are you purely vocalist?
I'm purely a vocalist. I dabble around a little bit with keyboards and piano. I took piano lessons when I was very young. So I can read music well enough to get by, but I would not call myself a piano player by any means.
Okay. I'm just the opposite. I say I can carry a tune in a bucket. If I absolutely have to, and there's no way I would ever get out with the mic and sing a solo, there's no way I would ever do it.
No?
No.
Oh, wow.
It would scare me to death to have to do that because I know it's not my forte. But I love accompanying, so.
Oh, okay. The complete opposite.
Yeah.
No amount of alcohol can get you to sing.
No, and I play purely by music.
Wow.
Speaking of which, we were chatting earlier. There is a bottle of Maker's Mark behind you.
Yes.
I am from Kentucky. I'm from a small town called Versailles. And you lived in Kentucky for a while.
I lived in Louisville, Kentucky from 1990 to 1991.
Mm-hmm.
I left St. Louis. I moved to Louisville. I was there for, like I said, about a year. I was on cast at The Connection, which was a very famous nightclub. Huge. It was 5 bars under one roof. It had a piano bar, a restaurant, a disco, a show bar, and a video bar. And I was on cast in the show bar. I was the only male, I was called the male lead. So I was the male performer in this show bar at The Connection. It was myself. Eddie D was the show director. We also had Margot Davis, Robbie Lynn, Reva Devereaux, and Terry Vanessa Coleman. And that was the cast. So it was all drag queens and me.
At one point, The Connection was the largest gay bar in North America because, as you said, it was the piano bar, what they called the shower bar where the dancers got in, the dance bar, a lounge bar, the side bar, the dance bar, and then the drag bar, performance bar.
Yeah, the theater. The theater was huge. It was so huge you could drive a car on stage.
Oh,
that's how big that stage was.
I remember when they did Car Wash, and the drag performers got out and did dancing at the car wash, and they had their big wigs on, and I remember that from probably 20 years ago.
What became the shower bar used to be the restaurant. So when the bar closed, I think the bar closed about, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the morning. Everybody would leave the theater and the disco and walk right into the restaurant because it was all under one roof.
Okay. I don't remember there being a restaurant. That's interesting.
A restaurant. Yeah, that's where the shower bar ended up becoming, or the place of the restaurant.
Yeah, yeah. So where are some other fun places that you've performed? You're a regular at Alibi. We'll talk about that. But I always like to ask, what are some of like really fun places maybe you've performed that sticks out in your mind?
In the country?
Anywhere.
Oh, wow. Like I said, I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and performed at one of the large bars there was called Faces. And I'm still the current reigning Mr. Faces. I've been holding that title for 30 years because they never had it again. And the bar has now closed. But Faces in St. Louis was a wonderful place. Of course, The Connection in Louisville, Kentucky. Performing there was outstanding. After I left Louisville, Kentucky, I moved to Dallas, Texas. And I was in Dallas, Texas for 10 years. There was a place there called the Village Station. I performed there, and there was a lot of piano bars in Dallas, Texas. So I performed at a place called Michael's Piano Bar and also the Hideaway. I was a regular there once a week, sometimes twice a week, which is what I do now here at the Alibi.
Okay. And then you're also a church musician now currently, and that's part of what you're doing, or big time, or your full-time job, I think now you were saying.
Yes, it's definitely my full-time job. I am the music director at the Center for Spiritual Living, Fort Lauderdale, as some of you might know, would be called CSL FTL.
Okay, and where is it located now? Because it used to be across from the bowling alley, but now you moved locations. Yeah,
it used to be at 26th and was it 15th or 16th? I can't remember what street that is, but right where the bowling alley is. It was across the street. And now we are located right off of Dixie Highway, near Commercial.
Okay.
Around 48th.
And what kind of music do you do there at the church? Because I've been an organist, but there's all kinds of church music. What kind do you all do?
We do whatever we want to do, as long as the music inspires and uplifts people and has something to do with the sermon the minister is presenting on that day. Then that's what we'll do. So we can do anything from pop music to Broadway to traditional church music, as long as it's inspiring.
It's inspiring.
Yeah.
And how do you select it? Is it predetermined? And because I've been a choir director, and selecting music is for churches a lot more thought and effort than people realize at what goes into it, and trying to align it with the sermon, or align it with the message. So
Correct.
how do you make that kind of selection? Because that's a very different time than singing is making that leadership.
Song selection is time consuming, because you really want to make sure that the song that you select goes with the message. I'm very fortunate that my minister actually prints out his talk titles for the year, and he sends it out in August. So this August, I will get every single talk title that he's talking about for 2021 for the entire year. So I'll have plenty of time to know what he's talking about.
And I don't know about you, but when I was doing it, I will sit down and look at the titles, and just in the car, I'll have an aha moment of, that's the song we need to sing for that particular time, when I'm not even thinking about it.
Oh, absolutely. So sometimes I will select songs for a particular Sunday, and I'll be shopping at Publix, and something comes over the system on Publix. I'm going, oh my God, that's much better than what I selected. And I will change it. I'll say, we're not doing that, because I usually turn songs in on Tuesday. So by Tuesday, the previous Tuesday to the Sunday service, I'll turn the music in. But if I hear something on Monday night that I am more inspired by, I will change it.
And that is the world of music, is the constantly evolving and listening to what needs to be done. That's a big part of the sensitivity. When the music is better, you can tell the person has put that time and thought into it.
Oh, absolutely. I was getting ready for a church service a couple of weeks ago, and this commercial came on. It was a commercial for, I want to say it was for Bounty paper towels or something. And the song, it was just a commercial, and the guy was singing "Walk With Me." And this was at a time where we were going through, George Floyd had just been murdered, and it was just a tragic time for America, and everybody the sensitivity was very heightened. And this song came on, and I went, oh my God, this song is absolutely perfect for this Sunday. So I changed it at that moment, and it was a commercial that was on television.
Yeah.
The name of the song was "Walk With Me."
Walk With Me. Okay. I've been listening.
I've never heard it before. I was like, this song is perfect.
Yeah. I've been re-listening to Sandi Patty from years ago. She was a huge influence.
I love
Sandi Patty.
Sandi Patty.
I got to see Amy Grant in concert in Key West last year. Yeah.
Oh, very great artist. My mom and my sister used to go see Sandi Patty every year when we lived in St. Louis. Huge fans.
They've changed church music more than I think anyone Sandi Patty at least has. We used to do choral arrangements of Sandi Patty years ago at senior concert. Yeah. Your mom sang. I was reading the article. Your mom sang at your wedding.
Yeah, when I got married when I was in Dallas. I'm no longer with that person, but but when I was with that person, my mom came down from St. Louis and sang at our wedding. It was amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great, coming from a Baptist background. I've talked to people who they don't always get to have that. So
absolutely,
that's great to have.
And then the thing is, in Baptist churches, even though they don't talk about it, everyone's gay. The choir director's gay. The lead tenor is gay. Like everybody, they don't talk about it, but everybody's gay in the Baptist church.
Yeah. It's coming, and everyone is just going to get used to it. No matter what denomination comes down the line. There are some churches that still struggle with women ministers, believe it or not. But I love to hear a woman preach. I mean, I work with some of them here in the area, and they are phenomenal preachers and ministers and have a real heart. So I feel bad for churches that don't accept that. So
absolutely. And it's it's downright silly not to accept someone based on something that minuscule.
Yeah. Not to change the subject, but you're coming up on your 5-year anniversary at Alibi.
I am. I was living in New York City, and I had one winter too many. And I said, "Hi, Michael Smith." And I said to myself, I want to live somewhere warm, and I don't want to go through another winter. And so I said, I'd been down to Fort Lauderdale many times for vacation. And I said, you know what, I think I'll move to Fort Lauderdale. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and this friend said, you've got to meet Jennifer McClain, because she does in Fort Lauderdale what you do here in terms of performing. So he kind of hooked us up on Facebook, and we had never met.
Okay.
So I moved to Fort Lauderdale. I meet Jennifer McClain on the day that I moved here. And she says, my friend Brandon told me you can sing. And if he says you can sing, then you can sing. I believe him. I don't have to hear it, but I believe him. So a week later, she said, this was May. So a month later, she goes, I'm going to New York City for Gay Pride. Can you fill in for me at the Alibi? And I said, sure, absolutely. That's what I want to get into anyway. So I filled in for her. That show went very well. And then a month later, hey, Michael Green. A month later, I was asked to create my own show at the Alibi. So that was July of 2015. And this July, which is the end of this month, will be my 5-year anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, very excited.
Jennifer is a friend of mine, and she's such a great performer, and she's a great person to know. And through this COVID, I've gotten to know her better, and we've had one of those texting moments of, Jennifer, let's have our gripe session together about trying to get through this. And I've appreciated her support through this, so I'm glad that you made that connection as well.
Yeah, she's a good gal.
Yeah. So, and the congratulations. And Alibi is just such a fun place to go. I'm glad you are a part of the team.
I absolutely love it there.
Yeah. And you have had a long string of pageants that you've been in. We were reading so we did we'll pull it in here. Let's see. Get to my screen here. We did this article on you.
Yes, I remember that. The photographer was fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. We get a lot of compliments. Andy Armano is our photographer.
Yeah,
and
fantastic.
Yes, but your pageants I'm trying to do two things at once, so pull that out. But tell us about your pageants and tell us about some of those.
I started back in St. Louis. I would go to Faces and a lot of the gay bars there, and they all had drag queen performers. Mm-hmm. And I knew I wanted to perform, but I did not have any desire whatsoever to do drag. Love drag queens. I love a drag show. Love to tip them. Just had no desire to do it. So a friend of mine told me at that time, said, you know that there's pageants for males. There's pageants for gay men, and I had no idea. So I entered my first pageant, I think the February of '90, which was in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And then I entered Mr. Faces in April of '90, and I won.
Okay.
And I got bitten by the pageant bug, I guess, at that point. And I went to Mr. Gay Missouri America that year. I won talent, and I was first runner-up to Mr. Gay Missouri America, went on to Mr. Gay America, won overall talent out of 20-something contestants, was dead last in swimwear, was dead last in formal wear, and was somewhere in the middle in interview. So I went, and at that time, I think I weighed like 120 pounds.
Okay.
Very skinny. Swimwear was not working out for me, shall we say. I was just too thin. And so I went back the next year, started bulking up, started building up, and I was third runner-up to the national competition.
Okay.
And I went back several years after that. I finally won the title of Mr. Gay America in 1998.
Okay.
3 years later, I went to Mr. Gay USA. I won that title. And then I won the title of Mr. Continental, which is held in Chicago in 2005. And recently, I also won the title of Mr. Florida, which was held about 3 years ago, I think. And last year, I won the title of All-American Gent, another national title. So, but I think I'm done. There are more national titles out there to win, but I think I'm done. I'm ready to do some other stuff with my career in terms of singing.
That is a very impressive list. I was reading through that, and that's a lot. That's congratulations. That's a very impressive list, and it's a lot of work to go through all those and put all that together. And
It's a lot.
that's a lot of work.
It's a lot. You have to prepare for talent, usually personal interview, on-stage question, formal wear. Some categories are swimwear and creative costume. So it's a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
And then you have to take that prepared package and take it to another state. So yeah. So when I was in New York, I actually competed in Kentucky for Entertainer of the Year at the Connection.
Okay.
Was first runner up twice.
Just keep at it. That's amazing. That's good. And that you can actually sing, and they can maybe push a piano out there for me, but
hey, they can do that.
There you go. We'll have to do a little piano with something. I'll have to accompany or something. Just give me the sheet music. That's the only requirement I have.
Well, that's a good requirement.
Yeah.
I can do that.
When Tom Goss was here, he wanted me to play for him, and he gave me the written out chord charts, and I think I had a panic attack. And he looked at me and he goes, I don't think we're going to do this. I said, Tom, you got to
handwritten chord charts.
Well, yeah, he had the chords, and it was like the bars.
Oh, yeah.
He was expecting me to count the bars, and I said, Tom, I don't think of music that way. You have to give me some notes. But it's a lot of fun. What's your favorite song to sing?
Oh, wow, that could change at any hour of any day. Right now, to be honest with you, my favorite song to sing right now is Love's in Need of Love Today. It's a song by Stevie Wonder. And I started singing that at the beginning of this this whole Corona COVID situation. And it's just a song that touched my heart, and I thought that I would share it with other people, and hopefully they would feel the same way.
This has been very difficult on a lot of people, and I feel blessed that you and so many people are doing these online shows, and I've turned on. It's very serendipitous when some of these have been on, and you and Lenora, Jay, we've watched. Hey, there's Lenora right there. Actually, she just said hello.
Hey, Lenora. I
literally said that right before she popped on. But there've been some tough nights that, like, Lenora's popped on live, and I've put it on the big screen and watched it, and I've watched Michael Walters, and it's bringing a piece of the Alibi people home and putting it on the big screen has really meant a lot. So I personally am very grateful for what all of you all are doing, and it's not gone unnoticed. And I know it's a lot of work, and I also realize it's not the same when there's no audience.
Correct. It's we have to sing into the camera, and the camera's not giving us anything back. No applause, no expression, no tears, no laughter, nothing. And we've had to. It's been an adjustment to learn how to perform the same way you would normally perform to the camera and really connect with people through the camera. And it's been a learning curve because I didn't know how to use any type of streaming service. I'd never gone Facebook Live ever before April of this year. Never used it. I knew I had it. I just never used it. So I had to learn how to use it. I had to buy a ring light. I had to learn how to make my flyers, which I kind of did before a little bit. Byron Richardson does our flyers at the Alibi, but I had to learn how to make my flyers for my live at home shows. So that's something I had to learn how to do. And I also had to learn how to hook up a mixer with a microphone to get proper sound into the computer so the live at home shows sound decent and don't sound cheap in a way. So it's been quite the learning curve. Oh, thank you, Derek Campbell.
I've told everybody. I said I think we went back. As I was saying before, we've all gone back to high school AV class and duct taping all of this stuff together. But
exactly,
we're lucky to have some of the pieces of technology we have that are fairly reasonable price considering the output of what we're getting.
Oh yeah, I'm impressed with what all of us are able to do. We're basically creating our own television shows in our homes, and the quality's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm pretty impressed.
I got to see Sean Hayes' living room, and I got to see Jane Lynch's foyer. On one of the TV shows. It's just been really cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. I always like to ask other performers this. Do you have any funny backstage moments or oops moments? Or as I've been a church organist, I've got a couple embarrassing stories that I've told before. Do you have any funny stories like that that you want to share? You can keep the other ones to yourself. But
I'm sitting here thinking, what backstage story can I share publicly? I'm trying to think. I'm not sure there's any necessarily funny ones. There's been some interesting backstage stories, I'll say that. But
it can be musical stories too. It doesn't have to be. I played the wrong hymn one Sunday morning, you know, and the congregation didn't really know.
Oh,
yeah.
I can tell you an onstage story that was interesting. I'm actually performing at the Connection in Louisville.
Okay.
And someone asked me to sing Somewhere from West Side Story by the Barbra Streisand arrangement from the Broadway album. And I'd sung that song 200 times. And I said, sure. I get on stage, the music starts. I didn't know one single word to that song in front of like 300 people. And I'm sitting there going, I started singing and I went, I know this song. And it was just one of those moments where just out of sight, out of mind. And I literally had no idea how the song went. I went, okay. So of course I went backstage and got another song and came back out and called, because we had a DJ. We had an actual DJ in a booth. So I called the DJ, I said, put on a different song. So I had to redeem myself with a song that I knew. But yeah, that's kind of a funny story that happened to me on stage.
We all have those. Like I said, I played the wrong hymn. Luckily, it was at the Presbyterian church I was at. It was a very obscure hymn with no meter. So there were different, like it would be a measure of 5/4 and 4/4, and they didn't know it either. So at the end, it was kind of funny because I didn't know it and they didn't know it either. But stuff like that happens all the time.
Yeah, showbiz.
Welcome to Showbiz. You know what? That's part of being out there and doing it live. And if you're afraid of that, don't do it. But that's part of the thrill, you know?
Yeah, you just got to go out there and do it. And we love that type of adrenaline. We love that.
Yeah.
Even though it was an embarrassing moment, I love the feeling of just being out on a limb.
Yeah.
I kind of like that feeling sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and people appreciate your music when you're there. The audience is very engaged with people when you're at Alibi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah. You have a show coming up online. Tell us when that is. Tell us the date, how to find it.
On my Facebook page, you can reach me at facebook.com, Mr. Antonio Edwards. I have a show every Thursday and every Saturday from 5:30 until, oh wow, look at that.
Look at that, there you are.
From 5:30 until 7:30. So it's a 2-hour show.
Okay.
I take modified requests. But yeah, I can do anything from Frank Sinatra to Bruno Mars to Prince to Michael Jackson to disco to 80s to Broadway. So I do a variety of different genres, and I absolutely love performing from home. I didn't think I'd like it, but it turns out to be a lot of fun.
Okay. And these are every Thursday at 5:30?
Every Thursday and every Saturday. And
every Saturday. Is it 5:30 at Saturday as well?
Correct. 5:30 to 7:30.
So people should mark their calendars.
Yeah.
And I tell people, go out and buy a $35 Chromecast or whatever it is. And when they watch these shows, because a lot of people now have, the larger televisions, bounce it to the larger TVs and put it on there. And it's like having, you and Lenora and Jennifer and all those on the big TV. It makes a huge difference to see that big, image. And it feels like you're sitting there. And psychologically right now, as we are all withdrawn from the entertainment, go out and get yourself a $35 Chromecast or whatever and put the image on the screen and put it up there and stand up and dance and watch and be engaged from home with you all that are doing it rather than just your phone.
Absolutely.
I encourage people to do that. I do it in the bedroom. I had Michael Walters on. I said, I've never seen so much purple hair in my bedroom, but it was just so encouraging to, lay there and watch it. And so it makes a huge difference. And it's a fun show. It's not something we maybe would have done outside of this, but it's really but it is a way that you all are encouraging, and maybe for you a ministry, you know, to get out and encourage people in that way.
I am definitely a minister of music. When I watch Lenora J's show, I actually have her hooked up to my mixer and 2 huge speakers. Probably, I'd say the speakers are probably 24 inches by 18 inches, and I have 2 of them. And I'm watching her show with surround sound, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the key is there's not any modification of the sound. So what you're hearing is like her pure voice and your pure voice, and you think these people can actually sing.
Yeah,
so,
when Lenora does her show, she's just singing, literally singing into her phone or her laptop. There's no mixer, there's no reverb, that's just her voice. Yeah. And you really understand the quality of her voice when you listen to that. To it.
Yes, and yours as well. It's the pure talent that's coming out. But it's not just the pure talent, it's the personality that's coming through. And that's what I'm appreciating with these shows. You're seeing the person, you know, there's a genuineness, I think, that's coming through even more so. So
we hope so.
Yeah, that's what I've appreciated about doing these interviews and talking to the people, is that everyone's been so nice and everyone's been so friendly. You know, it's a very genuineness. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything I didn't ask that you wanted to cover?
Not particularly. The only thing I want to say publicly is not to forget that Black Lives Matter. I do want to say that publicly. And with all of the racial divide and injustice in this country right now, I would say, please do what you can to step up and speak out against injustice, because it's very important.
It is very important. I think knowing what to do and how to best respond, and everyone is so important these days. And how can we support everyone in our community? Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes. And my corollary question to that is, what words of encouragement, and I've asked everyone this, do you have for people during this very difficult time?
What words of encouragement do I have for people? This too shall pass. This too shall pass. One of my favorite songs by Yolanda Adams.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, we have, I've got to pop this in from Lenora. This is too funny.
Uh-oh. Absolutely. Lenora, my sister knows me well.
Well, we will all have to sit down and have a drink or something at some point and have some kind of something. So
a Makers and Diet Coke.
There you go. There you go. I really appreciate you talking to me. It's been a blast, and I appreciate you sharing your music with us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For asking me as well.
You're welcome. I'm going to have Arthur, who's helping me, copy and paste in your social media links into the chat.
Okay.
And then we'll put them up here on the screen for you, so people can find you. There we go. And then we'll have him paste that in.
That is me.
That is you, to follow you. And we've got your shows coming up. We are, of course, outclique.com, CLIQUE. I picked a difficult word to spell and pronounce, but that's who we are. And you can text OCQ to 22828 to stay updated with us. So
fantastic.
Thank you, Antonio. Stay well. We will talk again, and we look forward to your shows online. And we look forward to coming back at some point to Alibi and the shows in the real time. Something will work out, we know.
All right. Thank you so much, Stephen. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.